Let's bring in Evercore ISI analyst David Palmer, who's got a buy rating and a 520 target on the stock. David, good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning, Carl. Thank you.
Did they say something mid-morning to prod this reversal?
No, I think this is just a name that is actively traded by hedge funds. The long-only community, the long-term investors are not totally convinced of the long-term story. This is one that's doing a lot of stuff right now to drive sales. By now, I mean really over the next 12 months. And a lot of people are not convinced that they are truly a 3% plus same-store sales company after they get done stuffed crust and this DoorDash contribution over the next 12 months.
Right. We think of them as sort of a tip of the spear tech player within QSR. Is the Dash, how high can that number get, these orders through third-party apps?
It's reasonable to expect that they're going to get a couple points or maybe 3 points from DoorDash here over the next 12 months or so. The question is, after that, between the customers that they've recruited through Uber Eats and DoorDash, can they continue to funnel them down to their first-party relationships, their loyalty program, and have more of a direct relationship with them, and continue to market on those platforms and get ranked higher and higher and higher due to their better value and speed of service times? Probably the answer is yes, but they're going to need to prove that. And plus, people think that they just fired their best shot with the stuffed crust as the innovation, but they're alluding to some other things that they can do, even with new kitchen equipment. And so people, of course, wonder about protein items, chicken innovation, for example, but that's on the come. And then the last thing is that they're going to be looking into upgrading their e-commerce platform to be better, perhaps not just for delivery, but for carryout as well.
Yeah, I mean, stuffed crust. Like, I grew up with stuffed crust at Pizza Hut. I remember that. It doesn't sound so innovative. So, David,
yeah, no, they're the last. They're the last to the game on it. They're just doing it at a slightly better price and a medium. But you're right. This is not rocket science. Yeah.
Yeah, the stuffed crust with cheese I used to love. So what's happening overall with these restaurants? I mean, is it a story? Because if it's a story about the consumer resilience, I do feel like we're hearing that. We heard it from Domino's this morning. We're seeing it in some of the data. Or is there something else going on when it comes to sort of eating out versus staying in and the cost differential there?
Right now, restaurants are flat. You're seeing some very flattish same-store sales across the big hamburger fast food guys overall, and pizza as well through the first half of the year. So it's not the 1% to 2% world that we're used to living in. Clearly, there's some overpricing that happened during the COVID era, some outpricing of the low 20s wage growth that happened. But in addition to that, people wonder, in the case of pizza, are we dealing with a carb issue? Do you have a core product issue, much like the salty snack category has in supermarkets? So that's one of the reasons why you wonder about categories like chicken helping, get them a little bit of a kick or at least some top spin on these comps.
Speaking of protein, a big piece on the wires today about beef prices now running, I guess, double-digit on steak and ground. How much of that doesn't sound like it's an easily solvable problem given what's happened to the herd for the past half a century?
Yeah, no. We're in the part of the cycle now where heifers are going to come offline to grow the herd again. And of course, and so you're right, beef prices are going up. You can see those charts. There is some nuance to it. The high-end steak places, they're not seeing the type of inflation that you would see in some other cuts. For example, what you're seeing even with tariffs, Australia and Brazilian beef lately is going up. So somebody that's buying frozen hamburger, for example, and some of these hamburger chains, the franchise guys are dealing with this more than, say, Texas Roadhouse. But you're still dealing with double-digit inflation. And that's weighing on some of these names, or at least causing some concern in the company-operated names like Texas Roadhouse, maybe a little bit Darden, and a little bit even Chipotle. But for the most part, those are the guys that have been comping relatively well. So for now, people have been are not really that afraid as of yet with the food costs.
All right. Finally, while I got you, I mean, there have been so many interesting, conflicting calls on MCD. Some of them pointing to the low end and weakness there as a liability, and others saying with their marketing budget maybe a positive. Where are you?
Yeah. we're becoming more constructive. Clearly, the snack wrap is a big help for the whole story. You're seeing mid-teens mix on that product. It's driving something like half of that lift, 7% plus lift. At $2.99 price point helps. These guys got away from value. They were one of the big pricers during COVID. The brand needs to stand for value. So I think they're going to have to get organized as a system, their franchisees and the company, around some national value like we've seen from Taco Bell. The odds of that happening are growing, partly because they saw that this national price point worked on the snack wrap. So this is becoming a better story from here. A lot of things have gone wrong. This has not been a great execution story over the last year plus, but it looks like they're getting their act together into the second half of the year. And so we like this name.
Yeah, got some FX at work as well. Pretty interesting period for QSR. Wicked competitive. David, good to talk to you. Talk soon.
Yeah.